Hello, everyone. Welcome back to We the Palestinians. This project exists to document how Palestinians imagine the future, not just what we have survived, but also what we want to build. For this third interview, I'm speaking with Saaed, who's going to share with us some of his memories, stories of being a Palestinian in the diaspora, and his long-term vision for Palestine. These are the voices that remind us that the future of Palestine is not something abstract. It's something shaped by people who lived its past and are still imagining what comes next. Today's conversation is about vision, belonging, and what a free Palestine could look like. So thank you for being here and thank you for listening. I want to start by two grounding questions that I usually ask to everyone who comes on We the Palestinians. The first one is, where are you currently joining us from?
I'm joining now from Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Perfect. Okay, so Windsor, Ontario, Canada. My second question is, where are you originally from in Palestine?
Okay. Originally from a town, a village called Burqa. It's
Okay.
near Nablus area. My parents were born there, and
Hmm.
their parents and parents and parents. I've been there for a few times, but
Hmm.
uh, I never lived there.
You were not born there, right?
I was not born, I did not live. I visited though
Just visited.
a few
Okay,
times.
perfect. Okay, and that leads us to me asking you to give you the space to introduce yourself the way you'd like to. Tell us a little bit about you, whether personally, academically, professionally, and where you're at today.
Okay. Um, Saaed Alfaqeeh, from Burqa originally. My father was in the Gulf in Qatar,
Hmm.
born there, lived there, studied there in a full Arabic environment.
Hmm.
Uh, did my studies. I have a finance degree from the US.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Okay.
banker by career. I've been corporate banker for 20 plus years and moved to Canada a few years back.
Hmm.
And my family are now in Canada, and we chose Windsor to be a home until we are home, away from home, as they say.
I like that. Home away from home. Mashallah, it seems like you had such an extensive life experience, visiting Palestine, living in Gulf countries, and now living in Canada.
Mm.
Again, I love this concept of home away from home. I feel like that's how lots of Palestinians in the diaspora feel. Um,
Yeah.
so this leads me to my first question is, when you think of Palestine today, what comes to your mind first?
Today, it's when one thinks of Palestine today, I mean, pain comes to heart because of what's going on.
Hmm.
Uh, it's really painful. It's angering. Uh,
Hmm.
and the pain from what we see, the anger from the limited acts, the limited support we can do. I mean,
Hmm.
as much as we try to support, uh, it's limited, virtually negligible. I can say negligible to really move things forward. Palestine, I think of it as a home, as a mission, or as an aspiration. Let's say it's
Hmm.
something that people should aspire to reach as a concept.
Hmm.
But at the end, it's a geography, and it's a geography that we want to retain and have back and have a right to go there.
Hmm. I love how you mentioned that just literally it's a country, geographically speaking, but then also it's an aspiration
Yeah.
for liberation, aspiration to having a home.
Mhm.
I like how you framed that. So you mentioned right now at the current state where things are at, it feels somewhat hopeless and it feels like there's so much to be done, but also there is so much hope for the next generation. I'm just curious, what's your hope for the next generation in terms of advocacy for Palestine, I would say?
Look, I'm not hopeless. I mean, I need to say that it is painful. It's
Mhm.
angry. I feel we're not doing enough.
Mhm.
However, I'm very hopeful. I think without that hope, we won't be moving. And
Mhm.
it's a hope that the next generation is gonna continue and do better.
Mhm.
I think generation on generation, We've been doing better than the previous generation. Not to undermine what they did and their contributions, but I mean, I think we managed to build on what they did
Hmm.
and moved forward and moving forward. And I hope the next generation is gonna do even much better and do a big, big step. And that step will enable them and us to go back, maybe, or be able to go back if we decide to.
Seeing or witnessing a free Palestine within our lifetime. I feel
I
like
think
that's,
I think it's feasible. Uh,
yeah, you think so?
Inshallah, yes.
Inshallah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is feasible. It is feasible. It's very difficult. It's very challenging,
Hmm.
but it can never be impossible. There's nothing impossible. I mean,
Hmm.
there's no impossible.
And I feel like I want to take this thought and let's hope that we have a free Palestine within our lifetime.
Yes.
Um, what would you want to see happen the most? It could be in any regards, whether it's in terms of education, politics.
Mhm. Well, what I want to see happen the most, it's the people ability to go back and really live what they dreamed about. I
Mm,
mean, I think it's going to be extremely challenging, and that's one of the things that we need to really start working on.
hmm.
Although to many it may seem a free Palestine extremely challenging,
Hmm.
not in a next generation lifetime, but you never know, as we said. So
Hmm.
we need to be prepared, have our institution in place, our I mean, plans. There has to
Hmm.
be plans. People go back, okay, we want real freedom, free
Hmm.
people where they can choose what sort of governance they have, government, or how do they do it. We don't know what it is, but it's something that the people can agree on.
Hmm.
Surely, real, fair and free country with justice, equitable to all its citizens.
Hmm.
Um, People can feel proud that they're back and they're part of
Hmm.
that country. We see other countries where people, I mean, they love their countries, but nothing to be proud about because of oppression, because of
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
the negativities that
Yeah.
are there. This is what we don't want. I mean,
Hmm.
we're fighting, we're
Hmm.
dreaming for generations to go back
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
build our free Palestine. So we wanted something that we are going to be proud of, and the future generations are going to be proud of as well.
This is something sort of that my father even tells me about because I always say if Palestine is free tomorrow, I would go back and live there. And he's like, but it's not what you imagine it to be. It's not gonna be how we imagine it now. Like we romanticize the idea of going back so much that reality, unfortunately, is it's not that sweet, if that makes sense. But as you said, it could be if the people have a say in how it looks like.
I think that's how it, I mean, he is totally right, unless we start building that. I mean, so it's
Hmm.
if you will, the revolutionary romance about liberation.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what will bring liberation and
Hmm.
freedom. But also, we need certain practicalities where we
Hmm.
build institutions that immediately jump in, a proper legal system, financial. I don't know. I mean, it's a whole country to build. I mean, it's a full-fledged country. It's beyond even my imagination what is
Hmm.
required.
Hmm.
But if we have that starting,
Hmm.
so the moment liberation is there, the institutions are operational,
Hmm.
so we can get what we want.
100%. Yeah. And this leads me to my other question is if we are to have a free Palestine, inshallah, within our lifetime, what do you think we should never forget about Palestine in the past?
I mean, we have at least 77 years
Mm-hmm.
that should never be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And even we can go few 20, 30 years. So since the Balfour Declaration,
Mm-hmm.
we should be totally aware that it could happen again. It happened 1,000 years ago when the Crusades came in. It took 200 years to liberate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now it's nearly 100 years since the Balfour, 77 since 38. So we should not forget all of that and be prepared and not to, I don't know what's the right word, keep our guards up. I think we
Mm-hmm.
should keep our guards up and be cautious of any attempt because obviously it's a targeted country. It's a
Mm-hmm.
targeted land from everywhere. So
No,
we need to keep our
100%.
guards. We need to keep our guards up, not to forget anything. Uh, yeah, just keep the guards up and not to forget
Mm-hmm.
that how it happened and keep learning. Teach the
Mm-hmm.
next generation. This is what happened. These were our mistakes. These were maybe naivety, mistake, ignorance, whatever you want to call it. It can be so many things. So they are very cautious, very clear. I don't want them to be afraid or scared.
Mm-hmm.
No, be courageous, be open, go out to the world, but be cautious, be clear.
Yeah, and what you're saying reminds me specifically of when I was doing my interviews in Europe. I had a few people mention that when we witness a free Palestine, there's the risk, for example, of having a civil war, based on the fact that we have so much division within the Palestinian society itself. When we think about government, for example, in West Bank versus Gaza, which it's not something I like to say, but then just even the politics within different Palestinian groups and different sects. And also, as I was talking to you before we started the recording, like geopolitical interventions, whether it's countries, like neighboring countries, having their wanting to have their own say, or even take a chunk of Palestine. If we think of the time when Egypt was sort of had a guardianship role over Gaza, and Jordan had
Yeah,
the West Bank.
I think, look, uh, I think because of the current geopolitics, we don't have a free Palestine. So
Mm,
the moment we get to a free Palestine, we are the danger on others. I mean, okay, I don't want to over exaggerate. I think, no, what I'm trying to say is that to get to a free Palestine,
hmm
at least what I'm thinking, uh, there would have been a massive change in the surrounding.
hmm
So whoever we fear today that they want a piece of our land or something, they may not, most likely, they're not the same people who are there. They are going to be friendlier or more committed to a free Palestine or as much committed to a free Palestine as us.
hmm
So the whole world is going to be totally different. I mean, we're already witnessing a major change.
We are.
The
Yeah.
change have rolled. That's it. It's irreversible. When do we really see this global change? I don't know, but it's already started.
hmm
The, it's rolling. So with the moment we are taking over that land and we're able to go back freely, the whole world is different, I think. It's going to
hmm
be a totally different world, different balance of power, different governments in the neighborhood.
hmm
I don't know. Even our own people who we worry from, I mean, without in Ramallah, they're not going to be there. They
hmm
cannot be there with a free Palestine.
Yeah.
They won't be there with a free Palestine.
hmm
However, we're humans. There will be aspiration to power,
hmm
people, and that is not wrong for people to have ambition
hmm
and they want to control. They want not control in the negative manner, but
hmm
yeah, people want to be leaders or there are leaders competing
hmm
as long as they do it within the framework that the people approve of.
hmm
Fair enough. That's a fair game.
Yeah.
Want to be a president, she want to be a president, he wants to be a president.
hmm
There are rules that we approve as the people
hmm
or have approved as the people. If it's in that manner, I think it's a fair game.
So, yeah. And I like what you said about how it's going to be a whole different world, even for neighboring countries. And I was reading recently how whatever is happening in Gaza, it's basically a translation of the world order.
Yeah.
So, for example, when with the current violence or the genocide that was happening and kind of still happening in Gaza, we see that the world sort of went silent. And whenever someone tries to speak up, there's lots of, government crackdown and all of that. So as you mentioned, when we have a free Palestine where it's free from colonialism, the whole world order is going to change from the US to neighboring countries to even maybe the east of the world, China.
I strongly believe and think so.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to ask you if you could share with us sort of how was your journey back to Palestine when you went back to visit your home village?
Oh, okay. I was there. uh, I've been to Palestine several times.
Mm-hmm.
However, to the village itself, it was twice. Once I was a child, I went there with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I was an adult. After college, I met my to-be wife.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Palestine, the 48 area.
Okay.
Her name is Abir, and we drove to Burqa at that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was officially, I mean, it was a nice drive. I saw a lot the settlements, the
Mm-hmm.
way the roads, the bypasses that the settlements have versus the roads that we have as Arabs. Uh, a funny story happened. We drove in, I don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to go. We drove around and we needed to see an old person.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell him my father or grandfather name from my mother's side. So maybe they can recognize the names
Mm-hmm.
and show me where my family house is.
Oh, okay.
But it was just nothing planned. We just drove
Mm-hmm.
into the town. And as we drove, a tractor with the two young men were
Mm-hmm.
chasing us and
Okay.
going to places. Usually a tractor will never go uphill between the houses or
Mm-hmm.
something until we stopped by a small shop, three old men standing, and I asked the question, Salaam alaikum, do you know the house of Osama or uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fadl Saleh? I mean, my father's side, my mother's side. So the old man comes and who are you? And starts really an interrogation. Who are you? Where you come from? So based on some answer verifying who I am, he felt confident. He
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I'll take you not to your mother's house, to your father's house.
Okay.
And he hops in the car. The moment he hopped in the car, the tractor behind us turned around and left. They were not sure if we're, Mustaribin or
Oh, okay. I see.
they just, the alert
Mm-hmm.
was, but it was very, I mean, nice, funny. I don't know what to call it, but it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy was the same person who lived in our house. Ended up to be a cousin of my, I mean, some related to my grandmother, and he was in our house, actually living in our house. So it
Okay.
was a funny story. And the way the people there, I was interrogated by friendly interrogation, but they want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
they're not releasing any information or anything, just to make sure everybody's safe from their side, which we understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's over, it was overwhelming. It was nice, but still, knowing that your access is controlled. You won't be
Mm-hmm.
able to go anywhere, stay as the way you want, as much as you want. It keeps it okay, better suppress that feeling
Mm-hmm.
of, wow, I'm home. No, I'm not home. It's not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not yet, but it was an overwhelming feeling, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Jerusalem was extremely overwhelming.
Mm, okay.
It's, I loved Jaffa, the old town in Jaffa.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing, it's a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
The old town, you walk around, it's just, so it's like, I think something, it's worth, as Mahmoud
Mm-hmm.
Darwish said, some things are worth fighting, living for, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
fighting for.
I've never been to Palestine.
Okay, no,
I'm sort of part of the group that are like I was born and raised in Lebanon as a Palestinian refugee.
no.
So I've never been to Palestine, unfortunately. Inshallah, my plan is to go back and visit.
Inshallah.
So I see lots of videos, of course, and
Mm.
pictures from many cities, but then when people tell me stories, it feels different. So as you were narrating, I was just drawing images in my
Yeah.
head. And I'm just kind of curious. It's just as you know, recently there was this like sort of new rule or law that the Israeli government has put in place where it says like Arabs or Palestinians
Mm.
from the 48 lands cannot
Yeah.
marry someone from West Bank or Gaza. So were you married in Palestine or in
No.
outside?
Yeah, we married in 48. عارف في ال
Okay.
48.
Yeah.
My wife from a town called Mosmos next to
Hmm.
Al
Okay.
and we were married there and then back to Jordan. I'm
Okay.
Jordanian, so I'm not
Hmm.
Palestinian legally.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Uh, so I don't know, but the thing is, I never bothered. I mean, it wasn't the intention that I go and settle there.
Hmm.
So I think it's more comfortable. Nonetheless, they were difficult at some times in letting us in or letting me in or
Hmm.
something. But
Hmm.
uh, the people from the West Bank I'm aware of, yes, they suffer a lot, whether
Hmm.
they're men or women.
Hmm.
And I've seen in Abir's town, few people who were married to people from the West Bank,
Hmm.
they got split. I mean, segregated actually. They're still married.
Oh.
The wife lives in Jenin or in Nablus, and the husband, or the vice versa, in Fahim or in Musmus. And the children are okay. Where do they stay? If they go stay with in
Yeah.
West Bank, okay, they lose the access or the passport, or but if they don't, so it's really. I mean, they try to make it as difficult as possible as to
Yeah.
push people away.
Yeah,
I
the only
mean,
option is for them to leave Palestine.
yes, and believe it, from what I've seen, every small act that they do,
Hmm.
there is, I mean, you can build on that they want to push you out.
Yeah.
I mean, even the, I don't know, the big acts, even the smallest of acts, they just want to push people out,
Yeah.
find a way to push you out and make it accumulate until some, and we've seen some younger generation, they're getting fed up, they just
Hmm.
leaving.
Hmm.
And they're very good people, very Wataniyin, nationalist, and they're very patriotic. But, people have certain limitations, how much they can take it.
Hmm. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And,
that's one of the things that we need to
mhm.
support. Like, even those who go out, we need to understand why
Hmm.
and support them. Maybe they can go back. Maybe it's a period they need to take a break and go back and do
Hmm.
better. And the
Yeah.
people inside, we need to support them while they're inside. So
Hmm.
that's very important. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
extremely important not to forget.
Yeah, that sort of leads me to is the other topic that I wanted to go into. Initially, when you first started, you said we're sort of home away from home, Palestine
Yeah,
being the original
yeah.
home. So when you
Mhm.
imagine, I want to say the right of return is specifically for refugees or people who hold maybe the UNRWA cards, but then return in general for Palestinians in the diaspora. What's your vision for that? And maybe I just want to like let's say in this context we're not talking about a fully free Palestine yet.
Mm.
Maybe in this
Mm.
context we're talking about stages of freeing Palestine, where refugees
Yes,
and diaspora Palestinians have the right of return, and then other sort of freedoms start following.
yes.
So sort of
Uh,
like how do you think could that happen?
It's, I think this is, I, I strongly believe that the right of return is one of the most difficult or one of the major obstacles to reaching whatever kind of settlements between us and them, at least historically. It may
Hmm.
have, I mean, they'll give you a state, whatever that monkey state or a state,
Hmm.
whatever it is, but they'll give you parts of Jerusalem possibly. But
Hmm.
a right of return is the most dangerous thing that we can ask for. And
What do you mean? And like it's
that we can go
threatening.
back.
You mean
That
it's threatening to them for us to go back, right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. the
Okay.
right of return is the real existential risk that they will take
Yeah.
if they agree to.
Hmm.
So, and as it is so dangerous to them, it
Hmm.
is so important to us.
Yes,
And
exactly.
returning or not, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
I'm sure many Palestinians who are second or third generation, they talk of the right of return,
Hmm.
but they have their life set. They're already citizens of this or that country,
Hmm.
and their life is set. Nonetheless, they will never negate or give up their right of return.
Hmm.
They exercise it or not, it's nobody's business. It's our business
Yeah, yeah.
to exercise or not to exercise,
Hmm.
as long as I can do it.
Exactly.
And I will see some people going back for sure,
Hmm.
and maybe a good number of people, and hopefully it would be a good return.
Hmm.
We'll be able to build and encourage others to go back. But I don't know. I mean, I
Hmm.
cannot say I will see the 14 million or 15 million Palestinians booking and settling
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I will see many visiting, but settling, there will be some settling.
Hmm. Yeah, not so long ago, I read this research that specifically looks at the state of refugees, Palestinian refugees in Jordan and Lebanon.
Mm.
And then it shows how, if specifically only those refugees in Gaza, so as you know, there's refugees in Gaza that moved from neighboring southern cities in
Yeah.
Palestine. So
Mm.
refugees in Gaza, refugees in Jordan and Lebanon, if they move back to Palestine, to their historical villages, it would
Yeah.
not affect, like they wouldn't be, Palestinians would not be a majority compared to the Israelis. So
Mm.
this research sort of supports the UN right of return for refugees specifically. Again, those holding
Mm.
the UNRWA cards. Um, but again, as you mentioned, even if we are not a majority compared to them, even if those refugees who are currently in need of like having a home or having a country, um, Israel would not let us to go back.
Absolutely, because I mean, if we go into West Bank, if the right of return only exercised within the West Bank and Gaza,
Hmm.
then I mean, it's going to be a time bomb for them
Hmm.
unless you
Yeah.
find an equitable solution for the other refugees with their right of return, which is within the 48.
Hmm.
Now, if they really agree to that and allow refugees into the 48,
Hmm.
then they have to give them equal rights, equal status.
Yeah.
And then that's a major demographic disturbance.
Hmm.
And we are among the few high birth rate nations. We're growing like
Yeah.
nothing. So in no time, I mean, with 20% in 40 in the quote unquote Israel 48 zone
Hmm.
area, we're already 20%. So imagine if we're
Yeah.
at 40% and we're
Mhm.
the rate of growth is very high.
Very high. Yeah.
It's very disturbing for them. So
Mhm.
I don't see them approving it or doing it.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's see. It's going to be a return or a free Palestine return or no free Palestine return or no return.
Hmm.
It's not
Hmm.
going to happen just like that. They will never allow it. Even the
Hmm.
West Bank and Gaza, if there's a two-state solution, they're going to control the return,
Hmm.
who
Yeah.
returns or
Yeah.
not. That's
100%.
my belief.
Yeah. So we touched on Palestinians in the diaspora refugees who have the right of return. But then you also mentioned how there's Palestinians currently in Palestine who are leaving, whether it's
Yeah.
youth or even people who are not so young that they just want to leave, as you mentioned, because
Mm.
families are being forced to be apart, children are being forced to choose whether they should live on under Israeli rule or in the West Bank or, whatnot. So what do you think are concrete steps that we could currently do to help Palestinians maintain, I want to say, their sumud in staying
Yes.
on in Palestine?
Mhm. Think we should connect with them, support them in whatever way. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, currently, Gaza is taking all the monetary support or financial
Hmm.
support, plus the political support
Hmm.
from the Palestinians and friends of Palestine at the
Hmm.
same time. And right, and it is right. I mean, the current situation is
Hmm.
extreme. So it deserves all the attention.
Okay.
However, we should not ignore the West Bank or the
Mhm.
1948 uh,
Mhm.
Palestinians. Settlements are going like crazy, as we understand, as we
Yeah.
see, understand. It's in the 48, we're how many days into, we're the 11th of January.
Yeah.
In 11 days in 1948, more than 17 young Palestinians were killed, shot
Yeah.
dead in the 48 area,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
it's all orchestrated, organized crime.
Yeah.
That's organized by the state,
Hmm.
but it looks like an organized crime. So more than two, or on average, more than two, and mostly are young, productive, good standing. They're not even members of an organized crime.
Hmm.
It's not
Hmm.
like the mafias are fighting each other. No, it's bypasser, clean people getting shot. So that's
Yeah.
organized against us. So all these we need to be aware of
Hmm.
and not to forget. If we post on Gaza one or two times a day, we should at least once on West Bank and 48. Uh,
Hmm.
it's just we need to keep it in our mind and
Hmm.
extend our support to them because they're there at the end.
Yeah.
They're there and they're facing the same. The end result is going to end up to be the same, either killed or cleansed.
Hmm.
That's what Israel is looking at, kill and cleanse. They're doing both in Gaza right now.
Yeah.
They're putting the stage for the rest of Palestine. So we need to work on that. Sorry.
No, that's really
It's the,
important. Um, I have a friend who's from from the 48. I hate saying from the 48 lands. Who's
yeah,
Palestinian living under so-called Israel. Um, and I follow the page on Instagram that, as you mentioned, it keeps on sharing these stories of young people being shot out of nowhere as they're working. Like recently, there was this one specific story that really broke my heart. A man and his son were shot as they were working, and the grandfather or the father of the man was talking about how he was just working. He's never been engaged, as you said, with any organization, and the numbers are scary. Almost, I think last year it was over 250, so almost a person a day. It's
yeah, it's
insane.
not easy.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's lots of guns are in people's hands.
Yeah.
In historic in 48, historic Palestine,
Yeah.
Israel, Palestine. And we know it, we see it. If
Mm-hmm.
you say a word, they catch you. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a gun eh, or a small knife walking in Tel Aviv or something, they catch you. So their
Mm-hmm.
security level is very
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
How come automatic machine guns in Fahm are there and
Mm-hmm.
nobody see it, nobody finds it, but it managed to shoot Palestinians?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is a state organized crime. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of the cleansing or the transfer, whatever you want to call it, the push out. And people, I mean, I know people there, they are suffering, but they're
Mm-hmm.
still resisting, steadfasting, and saying, we're not gonna leave.
Yeah.
We may lose people, family, loved ones, but we're not gonna leave.
Yeah.
And we need to support them on that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to support
Yeah.
them on that.
As you know, the current state, I want to say, of finances slash money in Israel is pretty strong. And they have been affected by the recent like genocide in Gaza. Their finances have been hit. I'm just kind of curious, if you have like kept up with the news or done some research on the state of like finances specifically as it pertains to so-called state of Palestine that currently comes in the form of West Bank and Gaza. Um, I know it's very little because I've tried to do my own research too.
Not bad. It's unfortunate. I mean, Gaza you can exclude. All the
Yeah.
money is going to Ramallah, to the Palestinian Authority.
Mhm.
Palestinian Authority lives on handouts.
Yeah.
And if the more they compromise, they may get something here or there.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm not too bothered. I didn't see it something to really bother much about.
Hmm.
The unfortunate part is the people are not getting paid their salaries.
Hmm.
This. I mean, the employees and the
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
At the same time, they are chased by banks or by debt collection.
Hmm.
You have to pay. If you're not getting salary and borrowed against the salary, it's
Hmm.
not fair
Yeah.
that you chase these people. Nonetheless, the PA still going the way it's going,
Hmm.
not changing anything. And eventually, I think people will just, I think the best thing that people should do is a massive default.
Hmm.
Just default, just don't pay. Take take 2 million West bankers to the jail because they defaulted in their loans.
Yeah.
That's the only way. I mean, it's a bit silly, but I
Hmm.
don't know. It's not, it's
I see what
just
you're saying.
something that needs to be collapsed,
Hmm. Yeah. And
dismantled and collapsed, I think.
yes, exactly. And also, I think the current state of finances or the economy for a so-called state at this specific moment is very much affected by the occupation. They've stolen our resources, just as it is with the current state of indigenous people here in like Turtle Island, right? Where
Oh, yeah.
the indigenous reserves are the poorest, they have the least edu like very, I want to say, shaky education system, very bad healthcare system. And it's because those resources of land and natural resources have been stolen from them, just as it is in Palestine. Um, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to, yes, the action by the Israeli occupation and the current, I mean, the way it was colonized in Turtle Island and the current situation, it it's similar how it
Hmm.
started. The status quo today,
Hmm.
uh, here we have the indigenous here, they've been in a suffering for a few hundred years
Hmm.
and they've been controlled and overnumbered.
Hmm.
Yes, we're not so much outnumbered there.
Hmm.
And even if we are, our main problem is not the occupation within the West Bank. I'm talking here
Hmm.
specifically. Our
Hmm.
main problem is our Palestinian Authority.
Yes.
They are a security arm
Hmm.
of that occupation. So that's where the issue is. If we, or if they have, I don't know what's the right word, but if they have something that they should have, is just dismantle, leave, leave it. Let the occupation come and take over.
Oh, you're saying like,
They are making it extremely low cost occupation. That they
okay, I
brought
see what you're saying.
Palestine to be the cheapest occupation in history, maybe.
Okay.
And that's very detrimental to us.
Hmm.
And it helps them. Why should we suffer that financial burden?
Hmm.
Let Israel, it's their obligation. Now, we used to say under international law, fair enough, there's no more international law after what we've seen in
Yeah.
Gaza, so an occupation is responsible. However,
Hmm.
you don't have to do their security work. Let them bring their own soldiers,
Hmm.
24-hour, run traffic, run everything, so
Hmm.
they are at a higher risk.
Okay, but don't you
Now
think,
we have our own people, the PA soldiers
yeah.
doing all the dirty work,
Hmm.
or the normal traffic and policing work, but the dirty work as well, most of it. No, let them do it themselves so it becomes expensive anyways.
But don't you think this would increase like more people would die as a consequence of that? Just
No,
like
I
it would
don't.
be more of like an invasion instead of like including the West Bank as the 48 lands, if that makes sense.
Well, it is under control. It's not much difference. It's not much.
To an
I
extent,
mean,
yeah.
any moment they went today, yesterday, I think they went into Nablus. They
Hmm.
went into the courthouse. They took the archives. They checked everything. The
Hmm.
military,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they left. They took everything from the courthouse and they left.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is happening. I mean, يعني إنه uh,
It's like they say it's the West Bank under Palestinian Authority, but in reality, they are in control of
it's
everything.
exactly. So
Hmm.
it's deceptive, it's misleading
Hmm.
outside.
Hmm.
Until today, some people come and tell us, "Oh, you have your uh, sort of state. And if you show that you're really peaceful, it becomes very sovereign.
Yeah.
It's not, it's misleading the world.
Hmm.
And we're allowing it. The PA is allowing it the
Yeah.
way it's happening. And that brings me back to the thought. I mean, this kind of government can never bring a free Palestine. That's why in the beginning I
Hmm.
said, when
Hmm.
a free Palestine happens,
Hmm.
I'm not worried about this kind of government going into
Hmm.
a civil war. They're
Oh,
not
okay.
going
I
to
hear
be
what you're
there in place.
saying. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's,
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure. I just have a few more
sure.
covered questions I wanted to ask, and one of them pertains to the economy. So again, back to I'm thinking the reason why I keep on bringing up sort of Turtle Island and the situation of indigenous people here, because they've reached a point where it's hard to dismantle something called Canada or the United States, and now they have to deal with these consequences. But at the same time, when we think of their reserves, for example, they think of like what's the word? Reparations, I think,
Reparations, yeah.
like economic reparations, like giving them money to help them. It's not donations, it's their right because their
Yes.
land has been stolen and used for things that they didn't want to. Do you think for us to have a functioning, somewhat strong Palestinian economy where we have decent jobs, decent pay, decent banks, um, the step moving forward after, let's say, the occupation is dismantled in Palestine, would it be moving the money from, like, for example, Israeli banks and systems to the hands of whatever Palestinian government exists to build the economy? Or do you think we should build on the current economy that exists within the 48 territories and make that the Palestinian economy all throughout Palestine from the river to the sea? That's
That's,
sort of a very specific, futuristic
it's,
question.
no, it's not that. It's like, I mean, I'm gonna assume that what we're saying here is that we have a free Palestine
Hmm.
over the 28,000 square meters,
Yes.
and we are the governing body.
Hmm.
Now, depending how that happens, you
Hmm.
may inherit an economic system
Okay.
with that exists because
Hmm.
there are factories in here and in there. Every place there are
Yeah.
factories,
Hmm.
there are businesses, there
Hmm.
are trade
Hmm.
mechanics. So we may inherit it. Having a free Palestine over the 28,000 square meters does not necessarily mean that everyone who is not Palestinian is not going to be there.
Yes,
We don't know.
exactly.
So things are gonna continue. I think certain things gonna continue.
Hmm.
Uh, in many cases, there's no point in recreating the wheel. I mean, the wheel is
Hmm.
already there,
Hmm.
it's rolling. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be
Yeah.
different control, different people. Redistribution maybe happens to certain wealths and assets. Uh, but we don't know what's going to be the whole international economic system, banking system. Is it going to be
Yeah.
similar or things have changed?
Hmm.
Uh, Already now, without that, we don't know how it's going to be in 30, 40 years.
Hmm.
A lot is happening in the banking sector, in the money movement, uh, whole money movement mechanics.
Hmm.
Money, as we know, it is disappearing, uh, or in the process, possibly disappearing, and we become digitally moving. So I
Yeah.
really don't, I mean, it's too ambiguous. But with all that said, and not knowing, but knowing our people,
Hmm.
we are more than capable of doing what needs to be done
Hmm.
and very quickly.
Yeah.
And this is why maybe we should start looking at creating institution actually from now
Hmm.
to make sure that the moment it happens, we're ready and do a seamless takeover
Hmm. Hmm.
as possible. So my trust in our people makes me not too worried
Hmm.
that how we gonna manage. We're gonna manage. I don't know how, but we're gonna manage.
We're gonna manage.
We have people that are more than capable to
Mhm.
do the whole thing, set it from zero or pick up and move from wherever we are.
Mhm.
Uh, Bankers, economists, educators. I mean, everything is there. We have universities existing. We have banking
Yeah.
system as crippled as it is because it's under occupation, but
Yeah.
the systems are there. So we just need to make sure it runs efficient and clean, transparent and clean, and good controls are there.
Mhm. There's two things that you said that made me think of something. The first is not necessarily all of the settlers are gonna leave because some of them have been there maybe for three, four generations. They don't even know where they're from, maybe. Or some of them are Palestinian Jews that have been just integrated into the whole system. And this makes me think of the South African case of like how, for example, when they ended apartheid, they had the chance of just kicking out all the white people basically, or
Yeah,
just keeping them and integrating them. And honestly, the question of keeping settlers and not, or them leaving back to their homeland or whatever,
yeah,
it's a big question in within itself. And it makes me think of if we are to have a free Palestine and settlers are there, would it be something similar to South Africa where white people still hold the majority of the wealth and the majority of the land? And it's just like there's no apartheid on paper, but then
yeah.
so much that racism and discrimination, it's still there.
I, I hope not.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think so. And I don't know. It's all three at the same time.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
maybe I hope that it is not the same case.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, you're gonna have good number of Palestinians returning.
Hmm.
You're gonna have good number of Israelis leaving.
Hmm.
By default, I mean, I think the
Yeah.
way they are right now, they're just gonna pick up and leave. They
Hmm.
cannot handle staying for many reasons.
Yeah.
They won't be. Some will stay
Hmm.
uh, for whatever reason. They will stay, good or
Hmm.
bad, but they will stay, and they're not going to be a majority, and not even close. That's my
Your vision.
gut feeling. It's
Yeah.
just a gut feeling that this is how it's going to be. The return is you're going to have to bring back. I mean, people are going to go back, even people who are not planning to go and live. But I mean, I can tell you somebody with who inherited from his grandfather few dunums of land
Yeah.
on Haifa Beach. He's going to go and call for it. I mean, on Gaza, they want to make it a Riviera. Imagine
Hmm.
the rest of the beaches. It's going to be another other Riveras. So
Hmm.
people are going to go and call for their own inheritances,
Yeah.
especially those who suffered in the refugee camps. I
Hmm.
mean, who've been living in suffering. These are millions of dollars of value. It makes somebody's life much different. So they're going to call for it and ask for it. And these are going to be taken from or compensated from whoever was occupying it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So it's going to be a bit different. It's not the same as Turtle Island. Going back,
Yeah.
we're going to have a totally different equation. Our people are going to call for their assets, their wealth, their lands,
Hmm.
and the economy is going to be controlled by a Palestinian majority, I think.
Hmm.
As a government, now individuals, you'll have people here or there, but how easy it's going to be. I can imagine seeing BDS running again, even after Free Palestine, if these
Uh-huh.
people decide to keep businesses in there. It's not going to be easy to forget and to swallow.
Yes,
I mean, it's going to
100%.
take ages, and that will push them more and more out
Hmm. Hmm.
peacefully.
You mentioned lots of important things, whether it's anyways, you're just sparking way too many thoughts in my head. And one major thought is I had this specific exact conversation with someone about Palestinian refugees going back and claiming their land. And as you said, the problem is actually right now, it's not just that settlers have taken the lands of Palestinian refugees, but also other Palestinians, whether intentionally or accidentally, just because of the current system, have also taken the land of other Palestinian refugees who were forced out. So it's a whole system. And then he was talking about how whatever government exists in Free Palestine should decide what's a fair and reasonable division of land. And I bet the prices of land is going to be crazy expensive
Crazy.
at that time.
That's why we need to have shadow institutions or institutions from now tackling these sensitive issues. Uh,
Exactly.
Imagine, I mean, on land only, just that's just a nightmare. Sometimes it crosses the mind and it's a nightmare. Say a piece of land between
Hmm.
my father, my uncle, 50 years ago. They passed away, they have 10 kids each, and
Yes.
then half of them passed away, and
Hmm.
the third generation are now
Hmm.
100 people
Hmm.
sharing X number of piece of land.
Hmm.
How to manage all of that,
Yes.
distribution, making sure, and all of that. It's not a simple thing. It's going to be crazy chaotic.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
is something currently happening in practice, but it's limited only to West Bank
Yeah.
and Gaza. But then you go and talk about the full historic Palestine
Hmm.
and people who are in South America, Australia, Asia, God knows. I mean, so we need to have all these worked out.
Yes.
And that's just a simple thing. God knows what other things are there. And
Hmm.
then what constitute a Palestinian is a Palestinian whose father and mother, whose
Mm.
only father, or it's a father or a mother,
Yeah.
constitute a Palestinian. Someone who participated in the struggle with
Mm.
one of the things in 82, like that Italian or that Japanese
Mm.
people. Do they deserve to be Palestinians who struggled and
Hmm.
sacrificed and that? I think they do, but that all
Hmm.
these are
Yeah.
gonna come up.
Important,
Who's a
very
Palestinian?
important questions. Very important
Who
questions.
is a Palestinian?
Who is a Palestinian? Yes. And there's two things that you mentioned that are kind of the same, which is initially early on, you mentioned we need sort of like a steering committee that starts of thinking, how can we build a Palestinian economy? And now you're mentioning we need sort of like an institution that starts thinking of these big questions of land. And then, as you mentioned, nationality. And I'm sure there's million other things that goes into building a
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
And before we started this interview, you and I, you asked me, what is this project? And this is exactly where this project stemmed from. When I was thinking of this project, like the initial thought, it came from صراحة the Arab Spring. So whatever happened
Mhm.
in Egypt, Syria, and Tunisia, whatever, they all wanted, like the people wanted a democracy, but they
Yeah.
didn't imagine what comes next after throwing off the current dictator. And so what
Mhm.
happened, whoever came next was somewhat of a bigger disaster in so many
Yeah.
of the cases. And that's why in my head, I'm like, we as a Palestinians, we're constantly saying free Palestine, but we're never talking about what's next. What does that freedom look like?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do not have the tools to have these sort of think tanks of what would division of land look like. But I feel like starting these conversations by asking
Yes.
Palestinians about their vision is one way to spark these thoughts and sort of these ideas and visions for the future. Because every time, and I think that's the case for everyone, every time you search Palestine, you only get
Mhm.
news and you only get the past. Like you
Yes.
rarely see anyone talking about what's next. And I feel
No,
like
absolutely. This is a very interesting project.
if
Absolutely.
and if we do not have a solid plan of how we are going to function as a state, then why would they give us a state? Because unfortunately, in the current world order, you need a plan of
Yeah.
what would you bring to the table economically? What would you bring to the table socially? Why would countries want to stand with you against Israel? These are all
Yeah.
questions and things that we need to think.
That comes up, and we need to be ready. We have to show that we are capable, we are
Hmm.
ready, and
Hmm.
we can do it. Uh, One of the things, there was a conference recently somewhere in Europe,
Hmm.
and one of the speakers was talking that maybe we need to have we have lots of IT geniuses or brains capable start setting up a voting system, online voting system,
Mm.
building a Palestinian database of all Palestinians,
Hmm.
even both parents, one parent is a
Hmm.
Palestinian or self-acclaimed Palestinian. I just decided, I mean, I
Yeah.
decided I am a Palestinian, regardless if I'm from Africa or Asia or wherever. People who love Palestine and support Palestine and want to be Palestinians. So
Hmm.
databases to establish, know who we are, how many are we,
Hmm.
and from there we start building up and organizing. All these things, all these institutions can easily be managed. To do the voting, a few years back, they couldn't vote. They got an excuse. Oh, Jerusalem cannot vote, so we cancel the
Mm.
election.
Yeah.
We can do it online. Everybody's doing it online, and
Hmm.
we can do it secure and manageable. And. So we just need to start building these institutions.
Hmm.
And it can start simple and grow very complex and diverse.
Yeah.
So it is doable. It's very possible. It is very important, I think.
100%. The dimensions of this conversation are endless. You can
Yeah.
jump from one topic to the other, but I'm aware of our time together here. And I wanted to ask you sort of one last question here. If people down the line, years from now, listen to this interview, what would you want them to sort of remember or just take away from this conversation?
That we we as today's Palestinians, uh, like yesterday's Palestinians, have worked relentlessly,
Hmm.
most of us, in a way or another, to reach a free Palestine.
Hmm.
And we will reach it. It's not yet. It's taking long, but it takes long also. And we relentlessly kept working towards a free Palestine. From the labor that cleans the streets somewhere in Jordan or in Asia, a Palestinian laborer,
Mm.
to I mean, the biggest uh, politician or political or military leader of a Palestinian military leader,
Hmm.
we all contributed in a way towards that free Palestine. And if you in the next or the generation after not yet having that free Palestine, keep working and we will
Hmm.
get there.
Hmm. Inshallah.
So it will be, but we keep working in any way we can.
Hmm. That's a good way to sort of end it. Again, inshallah, we witness a free Palestine within our lifetime.
Inshallah.
And I really want to thank
Inshallah.
you for your time and all the insights you've provided. And as I mentioned, the dimensions and the conversations about what it takes to build a country are endless. Did you want to
Yeah.
add anything before I close
No,
this?
it's just, I mean, mentioning that the dimensions, it's Palestine. It's gonna, I mean, it's changing the world, it's impacting the world. And talking about Palestine, it's trillion dimensions. I mean, it's just, there are too many dimensions that we may not even know they exist.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's Palestine and free Palestine. We're gonna see it, inshallah,
Palestine.
or it will happen anyways.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much again for your time and thank you for everyone who's listening.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned for more interviews, inshallah. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you. You too.